This next video is how you can make up to $500 a week off of just a small system that takes up 8 foot by 20 foot of greenhouse space. I just got back from a conference that was about veteran farmers, and I had a lot of interest in people that wanted to know about this hydroponic system that I have here. A lot of people have gone back and watched my videos, but I kind of want to give like a quick down and dirty what it would cost to create a small system like this if you wanted to try it. This is for serious people that want to try hydroponics, more than likely for a business, and it's going to cost about $1,000 to set up. If you have the greenhouse space already, if you want to add like just a small PVC pipe high tunnel, it might cost you about $300. There's other videos on that. This is going to be solely focused on a small deep water culture system like this right here. This is an 8 by 20 and it has 20 rafts in it. I would use the 18-hole raft here that I use. This is my nursery, so I grow out small plants and then transfer them into here, and I grow them out in the 18-hole rafts over here. The rafts come from beaver plastic, but I'm going to explain all this to you in a minute. One thing I want to point out before I get started explaining the system and everything you would need to be able to take care of it is that my very first system that I used was an NFT system that I used from that I built myself out of PVC pipes. The PVC pipes were free, but I bought net cups, I bought hole saws, I bought everything else that I would need to go with it. And I actually really liked the system. It worked really well. It was very easy to maintain, but there was still problems with it. It clogged, and there was lots of algae, and it would leak. Okay, so right after I built my system, a fellow farmer down the road from me, she bought a commercial system from Crop King, and I think it was, I'm not sure, I think maybe it was 20 channels. And she come up to me at the market the next day, and she was like, "How do you get these things not to leak?" And I'm like, it's just kind of part of the deal from what I understand. So anyway, so this system here is pretty much carefree. Really, the only maintenance is planting, harvesting, cleaning the pump, and washing the rafts. That's really it. And obviously, topping off the nutrient solution, which happens very little. The pH and the nutrient solution varies very little in this system, and that's why I love the system over the NFT. The NFT system, it's kind of like if you don't have an automatic system for changing the fertilizer amount and the pH, it's kind of like a constant battle. I really don't feel like I could go on vacation. I don't feel like I could leave that system more than a day unless it was really rainy or cloudy. And I don't think it's due to my failure as a builder. I think it's just the fact that they leak a lot and they have a lot of problems. They have oxygenation issues. So inside of that channel, there's a lot of gases building up in there, and they're not. So there's not a lot of oxygen in there. This system right here, let me show you. Lots of oxygen. The roots are nice and pearly white. I've had no problems in the small systems with oxygenation whatsoever. This system, it's a little bit bigger. I have had some problems with oxygenation, but I think it was triggered by cold weather, and I had like some pythium. But let me just pick a raft. This one right here. Let's see. Oh, this one here. Still pretty good looking roots. Some of them might have a little bit of root rot, but I mean, the majority of these are dang near perfect. A little bit of brown there, but I'm not really concerned about it. Look how big these plants are. Like, I just planted this. I got algae on my hands. I just planted that. Look how big that is. These things are busting out. So let me explain to you a little bit more about the benefits of this system. Temperature-wise, these can handle a lot more heat and a lot more cold than the NFT channels can. like I said, there's a lot of water in there. So there's a big thermal battery in there, and it either prevents this greenhouse from warming up too much, or prevents this greenhouse from cooling down too much in the winter. So there's a lot of benefits to that. Like I said, I don't have to babysit the system like I do my NFT system in the other greenhouse. Airflow is a problem, a little bit of a problem. I'm working on that. I need to get some more fans in here, but you can see how close these things are, and I can't space those out. So that's probably one of the cons. I haven't had some of the inner leaf tip burn that I've had on my NFT system, so that's good. And I think it's because the system is so cool, and there's just lots of root to water contact in this system. I absolutely love this. I do like my NFT system, but not for leafy greens, not for lettuces, not for lettuces and head lettuces. I like it for chard, kale, celery. It works really, really good for celery. I've even grown broccoli in it. I would like to do more. Bok choy, kohlrabi, those types of things. Like, that's ideal for that. And honestly, it is good for doing this. Maybe you're like your bigger head lettuces, like I got mirror back there in the back, where you can actually space the channels a little bit farther apart. Like, that would be perfect for that. For those larger head lettuces that you want to grow. But for salad mix, this is the bomb. And also basil. Basil did way better in my deep water culture system than it did in the NFT channels. It grew faster, it grew more roots, the roots were wider, and I don't know why, but it just did a lot better. So I'm really happy to grow more basil in the system this year. Also, like, you get a little bit more optionality. Let me flip it around and show you what I'm talking about. You could grow your seedlings in it. You could grow basil in it, close together. You could grow things that you have a little bit of optionality on the spacing. So the downside to that is you'll get a little bit more algae in the holes that you don't fill. So let's say I did basil and I did it every other hole, then you're going to get algae in the holes that you don't fill. But you'll get more basil growing, more basil plants than you would if you were to grow in a NFT channel with fixed spacing. So you have two options. You could battle a little bit of algae and use the 72 hole rafts, or you could use these 18 hole rafts and just have less optionality. It all depends on what you want to grow and kind of what you think you can, how you think you can manage the algae. I bought these 72 hole rafts from Hort America, which still come from Beaver Plastics. But you can buy them short orders in smaller quantities without having to pay freight. But I bought all of these 18 hole rafts directly from Beaver Plastics. They're in AB Canada, so you may have to pay a bit of freight if you want to go with them. But let's dive into the system. Let's dive into the tools that you'll need and the fertilizer that I use in order to make this system successful. Built this system out of deck board. So it's 1x6, and I put in just two on each side. I put in a little bit of pipe pounded into the ground. This is 1 3/8 top rail. It's actually what I used to build my greenhouse out of. I have a strap that was extra, and then I took a bit of board, and this right here is where the boards join, and I screwed a little bit of board to each of the board where they split. I've got 3 boards, 3 of those this way, 3 8-foot lengths, and then I've got 10-foot lengths this way. I cut a little piece of 2x4 that I had and screwed this board into that and that board into that for the corner. The dimensions, the inside dimensions are about 20 foot and 2 inches this way, and 8 foot and 2 inches this way. And that's just so you have a little bit of room in here to be able to reach in there and grab the raft. You could put sand down. After you build this, you could put sand down to protect your plastic. This plastic is just cheap. I really was in a pinch when I wanted to build this, but it's just 4.5 mil HDPE. You can buy that at Home Depot. This is, I think it's 9 by like 30 or 9 by 24. Anyway, it cost me $25. You'll need the floats. I did screw this 1x2 to kind of hold the plastic on. And then I have this guy right here. One of my most popular videos is how to build this guy. That's a 600 gallon per hour pump with a Venturi added onto it. And that's how I aerate the system. I love these. It also adds circulation. I probably won't post a link, but if you search the rest of my videos, you'll see a picture of that Venturi setup in a smaller version of this. And you can click the link, find out how to build that. I actually have 2 videos. One on how to build these bigger Venturis that I use in here. You can't really see that. But anyway, I have larger Venturis in this system. I've got 3 of them. You're going to need some Oasis. There are 276 separate little holes on this Oasis that you can just peel apart and plant. You could also use rock wool. The rock wool comes in 200 hole. This is a little bit cheaper if you buy it in bulk. The Oasis is a little bit more expensive. The Oasis can be a little bit easier to use, but it also grows more algae on the top. This right here is my Blue Lab Truncheon. It costs about $100. And this is how I measure the fertilizer. You just simply stick this into the nutrient solution, and it tells you how much fertilizer. For lettuce, you want to be at 1.4. Honestly, most things will grow at 1.4, but like broccoli, I've grown broccoli, tomatoes, and stuff like that at 1.4. This is my Blue Lab pH pen, about $100. It measures the pH of the nutrient solution. One more thing I want to point out about this. This is sitting in a tray. This is a low profile, high density, very strong tray that I bought from Bootstrap Farmer on Amazon. You want the short ones because you can actually like pull those out. I have pH up and pH down. I use those to adjust the pH. You want to be at, I honestly like 6.2. Most people prefer like 5.5 to 5.8. I find that I have less problems at 6.2, but you'll have to play around with it in your area. Okay, let's play Find the Fertilizer. All right. This is a generic hydroponic fertilizer that I use. A lot of people use Master Blend. Some people use Jack's fertilizer. But anyway, you want to make sure that it's a hydroponic solution because this has a lot of things like boron, copper, iron, manganese, molybdenate, zinc. The numbers might be a little bit different, but you want to make sure you have a hydroponic fertilizer. That comes in a 25-pound bag, and it's about $40. This is my calcium nitrate. It's upside down, but it's calcium nitrate. This is generic again. This comes in a 50-pound bag. It's about $30-40. And then Epsom salt. So these 3 things make up the nutrients for these systems. And you want to avoid mixing the Epsom salt with your fertilizer. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to avoid mixing your fertilizer with your calcium nitrate because it can bind together and cause problems. So you want to do that. So you kind of want to mix them up, and then add them to your system. I use this guy right here, a paddle mixer, and I use a drill, throw it in a bucket, and mix them up. I do have some automated stuff in the other greenhouses next door, but you don't need that. You don't need to know about that yet. If you just want to try it. If you're serious about doing hydroponics, that's like kind of the minimum that you would need. Like I said, you could use a DIY NFT system. If you want to use like 2-inch pipes and plumb some lines, some drip lines to those pipes, I mean, it's going to end up costing you about the same amount as this. Also, one of the other things, a lot of people will use the pink foam insulation that they get from Lowe's and Home Depot instead of buying these rafts. Honestly, you're going to spend about, I mean, pretty close to the same amount with your time and everything. And plus, I know these are food safe, so that's a big deal to me. Don't DIY your rafts. It just doesn't make any sense. Just buy these. If you want to make a smaller system, that's fine. Just buy 4 of the rafts. You can buy 4. Cost you $100, and then you'll see how awesome the system grows. And then you'll be like, hey, why am I ever going to grow in the dirt ever again? And then you'll want to expand like me and have 7,000 square foot of greenhouse, and then just be out the ears with your lettuce. So, anyway, if you have any questions, please comment, post them. I'll try to get back to you on your next system. The next video that I want to do, got a couple options, but I think that it's going to be how to actually use this system and check the EC and all, and check the measurements and how to actually maintain this. So stay tuned. Like, subscribe, comment, all that other stuff that all the other YouTubers say that I guess is very important. But anyway, thanks for watching.